welcome back. Here's where you left off.
Merry Christmas!
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Hanukkah. Enjoy the season.
So we need a little bit of a little bell in our background here. But I do want to say, first of all, thank you for everything, everyone. I just want to say to our listeners, thank you so much for sticking with us in 2025. The books we've read so far, all the reviews we've done, all the craziness that we've talked about,
and all the feedback that you guys have given us, and the suggestions and everything. We really appreciate it. You guys keep on doing that.
And also, we don't consider ourselves expertise in space or time travels or anything like that. But we thank you for indulging our expertise and our extremely lack of knowledge for any of those subjects.
We don't put disclaimers on the show, but we really should.
We should. That'll be a lot more fun. So, Derek, I got a question for you. What was throughout the books that we read so far in 2025, what was the one that stand out?
I think the one that we both really were sort of most excited for was I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom, and we started off the year with that, and I think for us both that was a big book. I also really enjoyed. We did a bunch of audiobooks this year, and that was kind of a little different for us. We kind of moved into audiobooks, audio dramas, and kind of reviewed a couple of those. That was kind of fun too. So I think those are my highlights of the year so far.
I agree with you. The Black Box of Doom was actually I mentioned to you last year in 2024 that this is the book that I can't wait to read because the title itself is very interesting. The concept itself is very interesting. When we started reading about it, I was like, oh, this is not what we normally read. And it was very nice. It was a very interesting book to read, and the drama, the audio drama series that we did. The name is escaping me, Derek. Can you remind me what it is?
The Sojourn.
Yes, Sojourn. That was part of our experimental stage because we talked about this audio drama for the longest time. And we didn't really got into reviewing it until we decided, let's try something different. So we ended up reviewing it, and we got very into critiquing it.
I'd say technical. I'd say the word is technical. I mean, well, a lot more than I expected we would be. I mean, we really.
So. A little background, because my background is actually audio engineering productions. So I do a lot of like big theater and concerts and all that stuff, and plus do some studio work. So when I was listening to it, some of the comments that I got was what never made it to the episode is critiquing every single parts of every single thing about that audio drama, and we ended up not putting it in there because one, we were reviewing it based on the story, not the technical aspect of the whole thing of the whole post production, all that good stuff. But we ended up just doing the storyline of it. Overall, we were very impressed with I personally was very impressed with the storyline, and I try not to critique it too much in the technical side, but it was like. Yeah, it was a great.
You see it a lot more than I do from the technical side. I mean, we really, and you're right. We tried not to bring that too much into the review, but the reality is in the background there was a lot of like, wow, they really like, even the sounds of like the weapons fire. We were talking about that. We're like, does that really engage you? Their choice for the sound of the weapon, fire in there, and even the like when we talk about TV shows, I say I never fault the actor. Like the voice actors in the series is great and so forth. They did a wonderful job. But oftentimes it comes down to the writing. And when you do an audio drama, are you focusing more on the effects than the actual writing? And I think that was also another question, because when you write a book, you're very involved in the character and their mental state. And in an audio drama, you're trying to express everything through audio cues. And if those cues don't seem to fit the scene or the scenario, then it really drags it down, don't you think, Leonard?
It did. So I think if we end up deciding to do another audio drama, actually, I just want to know for you guys, if you guys want us to do an audio drama, let us know. You can just email us in the email address in the description. Let us know which one, and we'll definitely look at it, because I personally enjoyed it. So if you guys want us to do it, then drop us a line, then we can definitely put it in consideration for next year's schedule for review. So yeah, how about any other books that you considered pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, we love the Convergent series with Craig Allinson. Desperate Measures was out. We also did I would make the argument, we did a couple I'll use the word Army War series. The other audiobook we reviewed was that Armored one, along with Armored Book 2 by Mark Greaney. And those were really great books. Able Bodied Soldier was another one, which is sort of a soldiery kind of book. And we did a bunch of those.
Shackleton Signal as well.
That was sort of,
Okay.
that was. I think if that was the book that I'm gonna say that sort of, I think, let me down the most for the year. I think overall,
yes.
We had a lot of hopes for that book. I mean, it was like, I won't say it was awful, but it did not take the direction I was hopeful that it would, and we just had to compare it to Chris Hadfield's writings, and so for next year in 2026, we'll be reviewing Final Orbit by Chris Hadfield, which is the third book in his series, and that should be the first book dropping in the new year, everyone. So be ready for that. And so we kept on comparing them. We said, Chris really brings a lot of vibrant discussion to it, and a lot of the Shackleton Signal, it was sort of two stories meshed into one, which didn't always connect with each other, and it didn't always feel connected to me. It was still good characters. I don't know. I think we both were going to rate them for the year. That was probably the lower end of it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little bit more brutal in this one, Derek. The book itself, when the book came out, the first thing that drew me in that book was actually the book cover. To be honest with you, the book cover is amazing. It is Shackleton crater in the moon, and you have these two vehicles with astronauts running into the crater, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. If this book cover matches the storyline, this thing is going to be amazing. But unfortunately, we said this already in the final book review, the most interesting part of the character is the sub story of the detective, of the investigator, rather than
that was so strange.
rather than the mission to the crater, to the moon. The moon mission is so, in my opinion, it was so boring. I was complaining outside our recording time. After the recording, I was complaining. I was literally complaining to Derek. It's like, hey, dude, I'm not sure if I can survive this. But the only thing that keeps me coming back to it is the secondary story that's actually happening in Earth during the investigation itself. And I was like, that, in my opinion, should be the main storyline, not this moon thing. This moon thing is a secondary one. This moon thing can be like a sub note in somebody's posted note at the back of the book, and I'm good with that. So that's just my opinion.
Let's switch to like the thing that one of the books we loved most was, I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom. And we were both really excited to read this book. And it really didn't disappoint. It had some wonderful moments, and it had a good suspense. It had some great characters in it. We really did love the book, and even though the ending was a little like it came really quickly, and I was like, I want it to be kind of more drawn out a little bit, but still, it was a great book, and I enjoyed the writing in it a lot, especially for the two main characters. I think those two really hit it out of the park, and I'll call it the love letter of the book, because we didn't know what was in the black box. Was the whole what's in it? What's in it? And we were speculating the whole time, and that was the fun part of it. And in the end, it was kind of disturbing what was in the box. It was like
it's perfect, to be honest with you. It's so perfect because you have this thing you have this black box being delivered from California to New York. It went through across the U.S. and they're being chased after. There was there's inner struggle to one of the characters regarding daddy issues. There's the protagonist, the main character. She's this free-spirited person trying to do a job, right? Because she's getting paid at. And you have the father, you have the FBI chasing them, and at the same time you have goons and quote unquote the bad guys trying to chase them as well too. So it becomes this. Then they become the modern version of Bonnie and Clyde, but without the killing, right? Without the stealing part. Well, the stealing part's there, but not without the killing. And it became this wave of like, what's going on here? We're just trying to deliver this box, but we're being chased after. We're being shot at. We're being doing all this. By the time we get to the end, when they open that box, everyone's be like, "What? Are you kidding me?" I thought, like, I remember this, Derek. I remember this for a longest time that we were speculating could be a nuclear bomb, could be a bomb, could be like money,
we
could
had
be
so many
anything.
theories. We thought it was a body. We thought it was a bomb. We thought it was we were going on so much.
Yeah.
You're right though. The review of it was so great.
Exactly. Like we were speculating every single episode, Derek. We were speculating, even after we pressed press a stop in our recording. We were still speculating. There's points that we do not speak until the record date.
Yeah, you were very strict on that. It was funny because I think it's a great example of a really good engaging book that has a simple premise, but it engages you a lot. And I think, unlike other books that we've been reviewing, it is a little, because we review a fair number of sci-fi books on the channel, sci-fi style books, but this was not really it. It was more of a drama kind of idea, and it was a really great read. I mean, just the way just the way of the characters interacting and how they affect each other's lives, and how as they were making these travels and going through their adventure, they were impacting each other's lives, was also really great. I loved that part of the book, and yes, it was great to find out what was in the box and everything, and I went, it wasn't something, what's the word, evil. It might have been obscene, but it wasn't evil. It was just somebody trying to do something for somebody they loved, and it was a bit weird in the box, but whatever. Who cares?
You're right. You're right. It is kind of weird because if you guys was not part of the or you guys joined us halfway to the year itself, I definitely recommend you guys read this book because, in my opinion, is one of my favorite books so far. So
it was a really highlight for 2025, and we started the year off with it. The other one that we sort of tried to put in a little bit more of variety in there. We did a movie versus book review. So Mickey 7 versus Mickey 17, the movie review. And, a lot of people go see the movie. They might not have read the book. They might consider, do I read the book? Do I watch the movie? We like doing that sometimes. And by the way, guys, we got another one coming up in 2026, which is Project Hail Mary, which Leonard and I have very strong feelings on because we love the book Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And the review of that is on the channel. It's one of the first books we ever reviewed, so go back and listen to that. And when the movie comes out, we'll be doing a review of that one next year in 2026.
And like it's great to you guys right now, I'm probably going to be the most calm version you're ever going to hear from me. Because I'm more optimistic about the movie than and how they're going to do this movie. But Let's just say
I have
see if that
concerns.
happens.
I have many concerns about this movie.
Yes,
and the reason I have concerns is we got burned with Ready Player One.
Okay, we're not gonna. Okay. First of all,
we're not gonna rehash this on a Christmas special, but we got burned pretty hard with that.
Okay.
And you know what? Honestly, with Mickey 17, I'm a big fan of Mickey 7, and I was not a big fan of the movie.
So,
so
in other words, Derek, you're telling me we're 0 for 2 for book to movie adaptation.
We are. I would love. Well, actually, I mean, we didn't technically review
The Martian,
Andy Weir's other book, The Martian, but that was one of the best movie to book transfers I've ever seen. Period. Full stop. So I'm hopeful that the same screenwriter did it for Project Hail Mary. I have hope. I have sincere hope. I really do. I just feel like we needed a different main actor to play Grace, who's the main character.
Okay,
in the book,
we are jumping to conclusion here because, to be honest with you, we don't know how Ryan Gosling is going to play this yet, so we're not going to speculate anything. You're basing this right now based on the trailer that came out. So this came out for the past few months.
Yes, I'm lacking in information. That's exactly how it's going down. But we will have an epic discussion about this after the movie. I promise you that, everyone. Don't miss that.
We're actually going to be we're not sure yet how we're going to do this. I think we're originally planning to go together to watch this movie, but we'll see what happens on this, because I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to say a single word about this because there's a good chance that I could be amazingly correct that this movie is amazing and Derek is always wrong. So we'll see what happens on this. But let's just go back to Mickey 7, Mickey 17 here, because I said before that Ready Player One is an amazing example of what not to do to a book, to a movie. Period.
Period. Is a beautiful example. That they could have made that into a trilogy. That book was so good, it could have been into a 3-movie trilogy easily.
I agree.
Easily.
Like I'm saying, for all the people who's listening, and if you're listening, our audience, if you're listening, if you know someone who directs in Hollywood, in Europe, in Bollywood, or even Korea, Japan, whatever, if you know someone who can that directs movies and TV shows, send them an example of Mickey 7 and Mickey 17 of how not to transpose books to movies. Read Ready Player One and watch the movie. That's another great example of what not to do. If you guys planning to adapt a book to a movie, use those two examples as a check mark. Say, do not do this. Period. If you're ending up adopting a book to a movie, and the book is so much way better than the movie, then you guys failed. If someone can say that is incredibly close, congratulations, you deserve to win an award. But if someone says not even close, you failed.
Yeah. So the other stretch we did this year was we reviewed The Woman in Cabin 10, and we really wanted to go sort of for a mystery kind of idea, and we did another sort of book and movie review because Netflix did a movie adaptation for this. And you know what? We were both very happy with this explanation of movie and book review. I don't think we really had any major gripes about either the book or the movie. There were some differences between the two, and there was some discussion of which was better, which was worse. I mean, I think it came down to personal preference really in the end, which was different, don't you think?
That book, Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, this is the second book that we read from her, and this one was very exciting because this book came out a few years ago, but the Netflix movie came out in October. Yeah, October, roughly October.
Yeah.
September, October.
They released the movie a month or so later.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah,
it was kind of interesting because we ended up reading the book separately. We didn't do a full review that one because we want to do a comparison to it. And overall, it is close. It is darn close. The only difference is just the ending is slightly off. That I prefer the book version ending because it makes more sense than the movie, right? But I always tell Derek that that if you're trying to transpose books to a movie, there is some creative There's a creative thing.
Licensing that they take with it. Yeah,
Yes, yeah. So
exactly.
we understand all that. Like, we understand that if you want to change some stuff to make it easier for the flow of the movie, fine, no problems there. That's an amazing example of what to do. Okay, so people who has friends as a director or producer in the movie industry, that's a great example of close enough that, my God, it's pretty close, no issues there. But there are characters that's been changed slightly. That's fine, no problems there. But overall, I was very, very happy with the movie itself and with the book itself. The book was amazing, to be honest with you. The book was freaking fantastic. So that's going to be very interesting. If you're trying to find something to watch in the holidays, and if you can power through a book really fast and watch the movie, go for it. Worth it. So, the other book that I also want to talk to you about is The 4 Minutes. Remember that book? The Time Traveler?
Yeah.
They can only go back for 4 minutes?
Yeah. That was a good.
What do you think
book.
about that? What do you think about that? Like, after just absorbing it and thinking about it, what do you think about that book? I think we did.
It's another time travel sort of idea, and I like their spin on it. You only get 4 minutes. Like, if you think about it, what can you do in 4 minutes? And that was the thing that caught me in the book, and I liked how they kept that restriction there. But if you think about it, you get 4 minutes. It's not a lot of time, man. It's not a lot of time, and that's what creates the tension in the book, right?
Yeah, it does, because I remember reading that book. Every time I read our chapter assignment, I was like, what's going on? I can't wait for the next one. What do you think about this? I think we had conversations, like significant conversations regarding this book. If I remember correctly, we were very, very, I don't want to say opinionative, but we were very, in a point that we were concerned. We were concerned on how the storyline is actually proceeding, because there's some times that, like, the author ending up changing things, that as soon as they go back to the past, change the future to fix it, but then when they go back to the past, it's like, what's going on now? Oh, sorry, they could go to the future. They go to the future? Okay. Yeah, they go to the future because they want to know what happened so they can fix it to the past.
But they only have the 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you describe time travel as kind of very simplified way? If you're time traveling, pretend you're in a flowing river. If you toss a rock in front of you, the rock will go backwards so you can get it again, right? Compare going to the past, you throw the rock in the back, you need more energy to try to catch up with the raft, right? I remember that was a very well made explanation of how time travel should work. And I remember reading that. It's like, my God, this actually makes a lot of sense. So during the whole storyline, when they go to the future, they can go forward enough. They can go forward, figure some stuff out, then get backwards in the same timeline. So they don't go too much forward. They don't go too much to the past. It's like literally, it's like moving cars. So that, in my opinion, that book explains time travel a lot more simplified and easier to understand compared to other time traveling books I've ever read. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about time travel is the idea that you just go whenever you want is not always as engaging as having a limit. And, or the ability to affect a change, right? And that's the thing that I think really interests us with time travel books, is those books that give us a moral question, or a question about also how the mechanics of it work, or as you said, the explanation works. And I agree, that was a great explanation of the author that gave that. I actually wondered when I read it, did he take it like from a scientific paper somewhere that some physicists sort of maybe they mentioned it as an example, because it seemed very well thought out.
I agree. So that's definitely one of my highlights of this year, book-wise. So next year, Derek, what is our list for next year?
So we're starting off the year, as I mentioned earlier, with Final Orbit with Chris Hadfield, his third book in a series, sort of the mix between history and his writing, to mix those two together where he melds NASA and scientific and Russians and Chinese and all those people together and in a smorgasbord, and you kind of have to figure it out as you go along. And then we're going to be reviewing the last book in the Expeditionary Force
Potentially
series by Craig
last
Allenson.
book. Potentially last book.
Ground State. Yeah, he always says it's the last one. It's called Ground State. I think is it 18? I think it's 18.
It's 18.
Yeah. He's written so many, we've lost track. Yeah. And then there's, of course, as we mentioned earlier, a Time Risk, and then Time Risk 2. And then we are also going to be reviewing a book called My Buddy Gave Me a Starship. The author's name is losing me right now. Another one will be the Project Hail Mary movie and book review that we had mentioned before. And then another one will be Flybot by E. Taylor. And Flybot is going to be another sort of, I think, a sci-fi one. I'll call it a sci-fi. It's also sort of a mystery thriller kind of book, I think. And then depending on whether Craig Allenson decides not to write more Expeditionary Force books, we might review another book 6 of Convergence, which we know he's writing, but he may or may not release it in 2026. That's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, so far those are the books, because stuff happens. There's books that's been delayed or anything like that. So we normally get those are the primary books that we're probably that's 99.9% we're going to be reviewing for sure. We normally average about 9 books a year when we the way we do review, how we review books. So that's going to be very interesting because we are actually shy of a few books. So we normally keep several spots open just in case we see something that's kind of interesting. We are looking at other new we're also looking at thrillers and spy novels and all that good stuff as well too. So if you know anything, please let us know because we're open to read new and interesting books as well too. Also, if you're an author or you're representing an author, if you want us to review your books, please reach out to us. We're definitely welcome to. We welcome everyone to submit their books for our review itself, and give us our so we can give you our thoughts on the book itself as well too, because why not, right? Why not? And
why not? We love to talk to authors and ask them, why did you choose to make this character this way, and have lots of questions. And it's always interesting to speak to the author and understand where their thought process was when they decided to write the character that way, or they decided to kill a character off that you're super mad about now.
It's kind of funny though, Derek. I never mentioned this to you because I had a conversation with my sister. And she asked me, "It's like, how do you guys normally review books?" And I told them we do we do several chapters at a time. We talk about that particular chapters, like for example 1 to 6, for example. We talk about it. We speculate what's going to happen in the next 6 chapters. After that, then we provide that review. So it's a book club style, right? And she asked me, "It's like, how brutal are you guys?" Because I know you can be very brutal regarding your reviews and how you, and your comments and all that stuff. And I told her that we're pretty brutal. We're brutal enough that we tell the truth about the book, right? And we do not discourage authors to reach out from us because they want us to sugarcoat their review of their books. No, we don't do that. We give you exactly what we think about the book, because the only way an author, in our opinion, doesn't matter how established an author is, if you're being sugarcoated in your review, there's no way you can grow your series. Right, and that's how I explained to my sister, and we definitely want to help those authors to become better themselves. And remember, we are not here to sugarcoat things. We're here to tell you the truth. If it's good, oh my God, we will promote the crap out of it. If it's bad, we'll tell you how bad it is.
Yeah.
I think if you go to a regular book review, Derek, a book club, there'll be like, they will tell everyone in the club how good or bad the book is. And they have the power. Those book clubs have powers to say, buy this book because it's an amazing book. Right? And we're just putting this in a platform that everyone can read with us. Right? So that's how I explain to my sister the way we do things. Right? And
yeah.
And it's great. But yeah, no, I can't wait for next year, Derek. I really, really can't.
I can't
wait for next
either.
year.
Yeah,
So.
I'm looking forward to it. We have a lot of really good books coming. We really appreciate you, the audience, and we hope you've enjoyed this Christmas special. No matter how you celebrate this time of year, I hope you're with family, friends, and you're having a peaceful and wonderful time of the year. And we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Join us next time as we review chapters 1 through 16 of Final Orbit by Chris Hadfield. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share a review. We love to hear from you. Send us an email at yourbookmarksinfo@gmail.com. Join us again right here where you left off.